I am your astrologer, Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here's your daily forecast for the day of Sunday, January 28th, 2018. Now, what's going on today is that we've got the moon still hanging out right here in Gemini. Very communicative, at least for the beginning part of the day. Making us very communicative, very talkative, and just doing lots of thinking here about life and about what is going on with us. Okay, I think what could happen here, especially as we're doing some communicating and some talking, there could be some unexpected things that do come up as a result of all of this, with the moon in Gemini at 2 a.m. in the morning, making a sextile right over here to Uranus and Aries. Okay, so there could definitely be some kind of unexpected conversations that come up, some unexpected news that happens, or just some insights that come about your life too that maybe you weren't planning on, that could happen. Okay, some of those things that do come up though could be a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit unsettling. That's because at the same time, roughly the same time, what is it, about 2 hours later, that the moon is making this sextile to Uranus, it's also making a square right over here to Chiron at 4 a.m. All right, so there could be some unexpected thing or insight that does come up that's about us, very close to our identity, coming in here that could feel a little bit uncomfortable inside. Maybe we're not ready to accept this insight that's come up. Maybe we're not ready to live it and to move forward into it in some way that we're then going to have to work out. Okay, so I see that being a big thing, especially with Mercury here, which right now is the ruler of the moon, since the moon is in Gemini, right here at 25 degrees Capricorn, also an exact sextile with Chiron and a square as well with Uranus. I think unexpected news, unexpected information, unexpected insights here could be a huge thing at the very end of yesterday and into today that we're then going to have to figure out what to do with it. Okay, because I know I mentioned this yesterday, the moon and Mercury are making like the opposite aspects to both Uranus and to Chiron. I think some of the news that comes up might be a mixed bag. It may have some good with it, it may have some bad with it, and we have to figure out how to make the good better so that we can feel okay with what's happening. All right, so I think that's a lot of what is going on there. All right, after that happens, we may have to sit with and think about some of this insight or some of these unexpected things that come up for a while. But after that happens at noon, the moon is then going to come over here and enter Cancer, okay, noon mountain time. And what that means is that after we've spent the past few hours and days being very communicative, very talkative about our life, about what's going on, about where we see our life going with the trines to Aquarius coming in here, it then becomes more to emotions. What's going on inside you, what you're feeling, how you feel now about all these thoughts you had, about all of these visions about your future and where you see your life going. And I think it becomes towards noon and into the rest of the day more about being comfortable with all of these new insights that it is that you've received, and to understanding them emotionally so that you can feel much better with them and everything that's been going on. All right, so that's what's going to happen there with the moon hanging out in Cancer. Then after the moon enters Cancer at 6 o'clock at night mountain time, it is then going to come into an opposition right here with Saturn. Let me see if I can draw that better. Here we go, the opposition with Saturn coming down here to Cancer. Okay, and so I think that could bring up some tension, I want to say, at 6 o'clock at night, where we really want to reach for the future, reach some big dreams, put in the work to put our life in the right place, to create the reputation that we want, to have the life direction that we think is better for us. And I think there could be some tension there, because while we're reaching for some big new direction, while we're trying to change our life for the better and really step into it, I think also having to focus here on your emotional needs, on what's going on inside you, and on making sure that you have the foundations of your life taken care of before you begin to build some things, before you begin to move further up in the world and do some things that are important to you that we then have to learn how to balance our own personal needs, our needs inside, our needs of our home, and our family and things like that, while we also at the same time try to reach for some big dreams and put our life in a better place coming in, all right, that we could need dealing with, especially because we have so many planets here. I'm going to split the chart in half on the upper half of the chart. You know, I mean, look, we've got look at all these planets here on the upper half of the chart, and then we've got the moon here down below, saying, look, you have a lot of things you want to do. I want to say very publicly out in the world with people, about your reputation, about who you are, to put your life in the right place. In the past few days, especially with the moon being right here in Gemini and in Cancer, and Cancer is like the midnight. It's like the deepest, most private part of the chart here. We're having to focus on taking care of ourselves inside, taking care of ourselves emotionally and internally and in a very private way before we can then start to build upwards and do things again very publicly, all right? And so I think what we've been asked to do, especially coming in the past few days and especially moving into Cancer, is try to make sure that our plans are more well-rounded. It's not just about reaching for some big dreams. It's not just about doing things, putting in the work, making things happen, but it's also about making sure that you're okay in the process, that you understand it, that you're moving forward in the right ways here, that you need, and that you're nurturing yourself and your family and the people that are close to you emotionally in the best way, so that you can move forward more whole, more complete, and more comfortable with everything that's going on. Okay, so that's what I see going on there. Sorry, I messed up the chart. I'm telling you, it's fun to draw on these things. Then at the very end of the day, we do have the moon in Cancer, somewhere right around there, in a trine with Neptune. And this actually isn't going to happen until, I want to say, tomorrow, early tomorrow morning sometime, but the moon's going to start to come there at the end of the day today, saying, look, if you can pay attention to what's going on inside you, if you can pay attention to your emotions, to your home life, to your family, to the things that you need emotionally to feel more comfortable in life and more secure, then it's going to help you ultimately to get more on board with these changes that you're making in life with the Neptune thing coming in. It's going to help you to feel better about what's going on because you're paying attention to yourself emotionally, because you're making sure you have what you need inside in order to meet these new demands of your life. Okay, and I think spending the time today to really focus on what's going on inside you, especially the second part of the day after the moon comes into Cancer, I think is definitely going to help you to feel better if perhaps you felt uncomfortable lately. Coming in, because when the moon's here in Gemini squares Pisces, so it's the mind, it's thinking that is uncomfortable sometimes, thinking about where our life is going and what our new life could look like. That is the hard thing for us to understand and to move forward on and to overcome the past. But it's when we stop thinking, especially towards the end of the day, and allowing ourselves to feel what's going on, to pay attention to our emotions, to integrate things emotionally and not just intellectually in our life, that we're then going to start to feel better with all of this other stuff that is going on. All right, so that's what I see going on there. Now, for stuff that's happening in the background, we do have Jupiter still in a sextile with Pluto. I don't know how many more times I'm going to mention this. They're both slow. What is this, a rhombus? All right, let me delete this. I don't know how many more times I'm going to mention Jupiter in a sextile with Pluto here, because they are both very slow moving planets. And Jupiter actually is like starting to, it's not retrograde yet, obviously, but it's definitely starting to slow down because it's going to retrograde soon coming in here. So Jupiter is going to be around this spot with Pluto for a little bit. But it does indicate here changing your life for the better, good opportunities to change your life for the better, to understand what it is that you want and need deep down emotionally here in order for you to refine your path, refine your plan, and move your life in a better direction. Okay, so that's going on there. I did already mention Mercury as well, coming into the sextile to Chiron and to the square to Uranus, bringing up unexpected news here as we're trying to change our life for the better, that we're then going to have to figure out how to get comfortable with, with, and how to integrate into our life. Maybe some unexpected insights too that we have to figure out how to process emotionally going on that could come up. And then finally, Venus here coming into an exact conjunction with the South Node, indicating maybe having to go back from the past to do things differently and better, to take things from the past into into new chapters in new ways, or to go back to some things from the past and figure out you don't need them and let go of them, especially when it comes to relationships and money as well, so that you can again start to feel better at creating more of the life that it is that you want. Okay, so that's what I see going on there. Now your card for the day is the Ace of Cups reversed. The Ace of Cups upright is a good card. Reversed though, it could indicate emotions being everywhere. Maybe just not feeling quite right emotionally in your life. Either too many emotions that you don't know what to do with, or like not any emotions at all, just not feeling connected emotionally to life coming in. And I think that to me relates a lot to the Cancer moon, because Cancer is a water sign. Cups to me indicate water signs happening, and I think maybe that's what the moon in Cancer is asking us to do, to try to connect emotionally and very personally with everything that's been going on in our life, to not just envision a future, to not just think about life, make all of these changes and do all of these hard things mentally, but to feel the changes in your life, if that makes sense. To understand emotionally what's happening and to adjust yourself inside emotionally so that you can get on board with everything else that is happening. And I think if you can start to work with yourself inside, work with your emotions, and connect yourself emotionally in a positive way to all of these changes that it is that you've been making for the better, I think in the end it's going to help you to understand what's going on in your life and to feel more a part of life, and like you are working with your life instead of it happening to you or without you, or something along those lines. Okay, so I think that could be a part of it too. And even if you have too many emotions, and even if your emotions are all over the place, I think too taking a moment to be by yourself, to check in with yourself, could also help you as well get a handle on some uncomfortable things that are coming up here, so that they don't get the best of you and prevent you from doing some big things that you need to do. Okay, so that's what I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, and I will talk to you later.